All right, everybody, please join me for the, actually. Yep. Yep, it's fourth. Okay. Sure.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is 4 p.m. on June 8th, 2026, and I'm calling the Port of Allyn Board of Commissioners regular meeting to order. Welcome to our June regular meeting. We are glad you are here. We are here today to discuss the items on our agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature a verbal public comment period. Before we begin, a couple of housekeeping items. A friendly reminder to please silence cell phones to prevent disruptions. If you're attending virtually, please make sure you are muted unless you are the authorized active speaker. Here at the Port of Allyn, we are striving to foster a welcoming environment and create a community standard of respectfulness and fairness in how we conduct our discourse and operate our meetings. Please see the Port public comment policy posted at the front of the meeting room and on the Port's website for Port's full expectations of decorum. We welcome and encourage participation in our meetings by providing public comment for the Commissioner's consideration. However, to maintain efficiency in our meetings, verbal public comments is only a one-way communication to the board and not a Q&A or back and forth dialogue. We also ask the public comment in a manner that is civil and respectful. All verbal public comments are limited to 3 minutes. While verbal public comments is one manner in which the port may accept public comments, other channels remain open to the public, such as submitting written public comments prior to the meeting. The agenda for this evening is posted at the front of the meeting room and on the Port's website. Thank you for taking an interest in your community. All right, and now with that, we are open to public comment.
Commissioner Curtin, if I may.
Yes.
The emails received by Mr. Van Busker.
Oh, okay. Can you do that now then? Okay. Yeah, I received a couple emails from Commissioner, from Ken Van Busker. One of them, the meeting or the court thing that we had in April was reported on the April because it came before our meeting, so it doesn't need to be added to our minutes for May because it was dealt with in April. And the other is the as far as the Executive Directors Board, it was an oversight and as far as his comments not being posted, and it's now been posted, so. But they are not required by law to be there, but we do it anyway, so. All right, anybody have public comment? Joe has, well.
Anyone from the board? Yes,
Okay, I'm ready to go. Commissioners, this is Joe Cedarlund. I'm a property owner in the Port of Allyn District, and I wanted to address the commission tonight regarding the lack of the support of economic growth and development in the Port District. Currently, the Port of Allyn has had a significant focus on park operations for quite some time, and doing some research on that, I was looking up on behalf of the citizens of the Port District to have concerns about the Port's heavy focus on parks. And in that research, I found that that there's an RCW that the Port District, this is RCW 53.08260, A port district is only authorized to construct, improve, maintain, and operate parks and recreational facilities when those facilities are directly linked to the port's core maritime, commercial, or economic development mandates. Specifically, the statute dictates that such properties must be adjoining port facilities or serve to support direct port operations like docking, boat launches, or commercial infrastructure. Sweetwater Park, in this case, fails to meet these strict statutory requirements on every single front. It is not adjoined to any existing Port of Allyn facilities. It does not support docking, maritime transport, or boat launches. It is strictly recreational. It is inland and a standalone recreational park. By funding and operating this property, this commission is operating entirely outside its legal scope, spending port resources on a property that does not meet the legal guidelines for port operation. This brings me to my second point, which is a matter of administrative compliance. Under RCW 530827, a port district cannot simply expand into park operations without proper intergovernmental notice and approval. The law requires that any such park plan or acquisition must be submitted to appropriate local authorities, specifically the Mason County Parks Department and the State Parks Department, for proper review and notice. Now, we do not know if this happened in the case of Sweetwater Park, but we do see, and we're going to be exploring that further in other records requests, but we do see that the port is in strict violation of the RCW in operating the park, Sweetwater Park. And I think that the port really needs to consider this seriously, that they are a government agency tasked with supporting economic growth and development, and that is where the focus needs to go. There needs to be docking facilities, there needs to be warehouse facilities, there needs to be a business park.
15 seconds, Mr. Cedar.
Shipping. And this is what ports are for. And I'm asking the commission to research this, and if the commission needs to understand they're in violation of this RCW and divest of Sweetwater Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any other comments? All right. With that, somebody like to approve?
Yes, I, Commissioner Toby Treadway, move to approve the agenda for the Port of Allyn, June 8th, 2026, regular meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Unanimous. All right.
So moved.
Yep. All right. Consent agenda. Would somebody like to approve that?
I, Commissioner Treadway, move to approve the consent agenda items on June 8th, 2026, Port of Allyn regular meeting agenda.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
I'd
Aye.
like to ask that be pulled off for a separate discussion.
What, the agenda?
The consent agenda.
The consent agenda?
Yes. You didn't give me the chance to request it.
Are you referring to the May 11th minutes?
I'm referring to the May 11th minutes, yes.
I addressed that prior to us starting.
I don't think you did,
Or-
sir.
Yes, I did. Because I mentioned that in our April meeting. And it is in the minutes of the April meeting that I was at the courthouse.
April, these are the May 11th meeting.
Correct, but the April 13 minutes that have already been approved noted that Commissioner
But
Curtin said that he was at court on April 6th.
Pardon me, I'm looking at the minutes right now of May 11th, 2026.
It's not
speaking to
on the May
11th. We're
11th.
speaking to April 13th, sir. You can
But
move on.
didn't you approve those minutes in your consent agenda just now?
Yes, we did.
Well,
Because-
they're incorrect.
No, they are not.
Would you
Because
would you
what you
open
are
it up?
referring to was mentioned in, I mentioned it and it was in the April agenda.
Commissioner Burton, you don't need to debate, you can just continue.
How could it be in
Alright.
the April? How could it be in the April agenda if the meeting was May 11th?
Well, Ken, may I say that we had notice, proper notice. It was all understood. We were there, you were there. So we would like to move on. Thank you for your concern, but we'd like to move on.
Well, there was a
The
quorum of
meeting
the.
was after the court.
You failed to mention that you were there with Commissioner
In the
Scott.
April 13 meeting minutes, it clearly states that Commissioner Curtin said he was at the April 6th court hearing. Those minutes have already been signed and approved. Thank you.
The
We're
court
moving
hearing
on.
was May 11th.
Ken, we're done.
Court hearing was May 6th, sir. It's even in your
Don't
email.
worry
Thank you.
about it, just let him go on. You can tell that
You wait.
Commissioner Curtin.
All right. All those in favor
You're-
to approve the consent agenda, say aye. Aye.
I'd like to say something. This is Jessica Cederland.
No.
No,
We're
you're
past
Commissioner.
public comments.
Chairman, you need to be respectful, as you said in the beginning of the meeting. You're not being respectful to the public. It's not
We're
right.
already
to the
past
public.
the public comments.
Sir, out of all due respect, you need to be respectful for the public comment. It's part of your charter. It's part of your duty. You need to give.
And we've already passed it. We're done. I asked if anybody had public comment and nobody said yes. So we are moving on. Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Commissioner Curtin,
All right.
you may ask Ms. Severland if she had anything to do with consent agenda. Citizens can request something to be removed.
Do you have anything, Ms., about the consent agenda that you want discussed?
You talk about decorum, so that's what I was talking about. So no, I don't have a discussion about that. Thank you, sir.
All right. So we need to move on. All right, commissioners' reports.
All right, I'll start. Went to both meetings last month as well as only one meeting last week. You are correct. Apologize. One meeting last month as well as public market, Belford Public Market last month, and then one here on the 7th this last Sunday. That is what I have for my report.
All right.
Yeah, sure. I did the May 11th regular court meeting and like with Commissioner Treadway and Commissioner Curtin on the 17th, we did the Belford Public Market. I attended the Washington Public Ports Association spring meeting, and I'll give a few takeaways on that in a moment. June 7th, I did Commissioner Treadway and I also did the Belford Public Market. Had a few more people just passing out information. Well received. It was really good. Here's some of the information from the WPPA spring meeting. Some of this, and what I'm doing is just kind of hitting the highlights that are pertinent to our board. Some of the legal committee agenda had really good information. The state auditor had changed an interpretation in regard to on-call A&E contracts with architectural and whatever, but I know that we have a few contracts like that, I think with Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
Similar comment.
they changed some of that, so now we're okay, we've done what we're supposed to with that. New mandates for websites, which will be implemented in April 2027, and I can talk to to Travis about that. There was full and informative discussions about ANI and public meetings and records. The port's attorney, Port of Anacortes and Bellingham and Port Townsend spoke on many of the issues dealing with the ANI now influencing everything in regard to all that. Regarding to ANI, there's also a House bill about disclosure requirements now for ANI. The keynote speakers, one was Jason Spadaro, Washington Forest Protection Association, and Keith, don't know how to pronounce his name, Haikila, American Forest Resource Council. And there was a lot of concerns in regard to logging in Washington State. As you know, we get some of our money from DNR logging. But because of the different changes in logging, criteria and everything, it's been really difficult for loggers. So they're trying to deal with some of those issues and in logging care and some of the things that, because there's been some restrictions on that, now there's more forest fires. So that was something that was really interesting. Another update was the Energy Northwest and Nuclear Energy Institute about their nuclear energy plant still going strong. And providing electricity and explaining about their plans for more plants. That was really interesting. Because it hadn't been popular for very long. I always keep it under the table, not under the table, but under the radar, I guess. They don't talk about it much now, but it provides a lot of energy and a lot of electricity to the surrounding areas. Another big issue was Washington State manufacturing health. Businesses are leaving due to the added costs of doing business. There was a full panel of discussion in regarding to keeping what we have and trying to recruit manufacturing businesses. And that's pretty much just the highlights of Washington Public Ports Association. So there we go.
Thank you. I went to May 17th, public market. May 25th, I was here for the Memorial Day. It was a great turnout. A lot of people showed up. There was one gentleman from, was it World War II? It was over 100 years old, was here. So that was cool. And then June 1st, I was in court
Oh, okay.
for that, and that was good. Worked in our favor. So that's always a good thing. And I believe that's it.
Mhm. That can be director's report. We did a director's report.
Sure, just waiting for your prompt.
Yeah, sorry, I was
Just before that,
taking a breath.
meeting minutes to sign. Just to make you aware, there's a typo from the arrived late via Zoom on Michael's name that didn't get off from last month. So I'm just going to cross that off so that you all know that it's going to get removed in the posted signature.
I should be recent.
That's coming up this way.
Thank you. Okay, executive director's report. We had a chance to read the 7 pages of what's been going on this month.
Yes,
Do you have any questions just to start off?
not at this time.
As it follows our old business priority items, we can discuss them as we go through. And of course, page 6 had a correction on the suggestions on when to set up the, not
Date.
April, but June special meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can lead there if you like. Shrimp season has been in full swing for a month. Good amount of revenue pulled in for the port at its North Shore location due to the use of our mortgage facility and the ramp. There's some parking fees in there as well. We also had the fourth shrimp day, on Sunday, just previous. Parking lot was full, but it wasn't overcrowded, so that's always helpful. Reports of a successful day. So one more day left, that would be the 21st of June is still scheduled for shrimping. I attended several meetings during the month, those are noted there. The report, and it's been in the paper a couple of times this month. On May 14th, there was an article, and June 4th, there was another article. I provided those so that the public had a chance to see, if they don't have a subscription, what the paper has been talking about when it comes to port activity. And I'm sure the commission has had a chance to see all the articles present that have noted things happening before. So those will always be available. I changed the way they're presented so that you don't have the links that are, you only get to see the fading amount.
I greatly appreciate
So now
that.
you have the full PDF version of the actual articles.
Okay, good.
And those are available to the public as well. Comprehensive scheme has taken a back seat at this point. Just a lot of things going on with consolidation and preparing for the projects. May is always a busy month with shrimp season and the activity at our marinas. A while back, since the last meeting, I sent you all an email regarding the information from the investment broker on Stretch Island landing property. Did not hear from any of you wanting to put it on the agenda at this time, so if anybody wants to look into it further, their contact information is there. I honestly have no extra time to devote to looking into it currently.
Currently have a plate.
I have a plate full, very much. If the commission wants to change my plate, they're more than welcome to.
No, I'm good.
The annual report took up some time for the month. That's when we put together all of our paperwork for our financials so that they have them ready for the coming year's audits. So that was finished on May 28th with the deadline of May 31st. We did receive confirmation that we were awarded the 5-year operation and maintenance grant covering 75% of the budgeted cost of operating the 2 pump out stations located at both of the marinas.
What was that through? What grant was that through?
That's an RCO grant,
Okay,
Clean Vessels Act.
yeah, great, super.
State, that's not RCO, it's a state parks.
Oh, okay.
3 members of the ACA did a cleanup with our Adopt a Highway Litter Patrol collaboration. They got 13 large bags of garbage off these, put that on the east side of Highway 3 from about the port all the way up to just past the power lines.
It's all on one side.
All on one side,
Let's
13
go back to
bags.
the other side.
Yes, and the next cleanup is actually scheduled, didn't get it in the report, but it's scheduled for Juneteenth. We will have another cleanup opportunity available. Anybody can come down to the port and get the proper forms signed and join in the cleanup procedure. We can take as many as 8 people in one cleanup. So,
How many were at the last one?
3.
3?
It was June 19th, correct?
June 19th, correct, is the next.
Oh,
it's a
June
Friday,
19th.
And it's also a holiday.
The port offices.
It'll be, yeah, the port offices will be closed but I will be here to help facilitate the program. So, starting time is 9:30. We don't want to get started too late, otherwise it gets too hot. And of course, as Commissioner Curtin explained, Memorial Day went on. It's a fairly well attended event, a lot of volunteers. Thank you to all of them for making it happen.
Yep.
You can see our invested balances there that are accruing us additional interest income. And I would move to water system development at that point. So this last week, the last of the underground work needed as part of the consolidation was completed. There remains an altered service application with the PUD to evaluate transformer actual capacity feeding the well house at 171 Blackwell Street. Expect to have guidance from the PUD 3 this week, primarily after tomorrow. and my contact said they'll have more information. Once we've gotten that information, we can move on to the next steps to be evaluated. And the port will have to explore well pump and motor replacement for compatibility with the VFD control. Divers from Diving Company, Ecotech, they extended the port's main storage overflow piping by 2'9".
What day did they do that? You
It
remember?
was the 20th or the 23rd. I
Okay.
can't remember the day. I didn't put it in here. It sounds, 20th, 23rd sounds about right.
Okay.
So we've actually been able to bring the level of our storage tank up approximately 9 feet.
9 feet?
Sorry, 2 feet 9 inches. With right now, it's really kind of about 2 feet 3 inches. I'm kind of playing with the levels with our SCADA to make sure that we're not getting too close. But it has added an enormous capacity.
Yeah, that's great.
And
How many gallons is that? Do you know?
the tank is rated for 144,000. And then, of course, you have all the distribution lines that add to that capacity. Water. So it's not 144,000 gallons of tank. That would be for the brim.
Right.
And in the vouchers this time around, you got the second payment for the work done through May 31st for the general contractor payment sums who's done all the work. And that's our reimbursable expense through our drinking water state revolving fund. And after that, I would like to give the mic over to the water committee chair, Jeff Perry.
All right.
Jeff Carey, Chair of the Fort Allen's Water Committee. We met here on the 3rd. There's a number of subjects, as always. It seems like something, it's an average onlooker, sometimes very dry meetings. I mean, it's not technical, a lot of it would be your things, but bottom line is with regards to what occurred, some of the new business was to address a different approach to engineering, such as going after a little bit ahead of time, in this case, going after the request for proposal on 3 different areas. One, to just have on call an engineer that can review certain things, documents, instead of making it a project every time. Because the committee can look at things, but they're not engineers. We all have backgrounds on what's going on, but there are things we're just not engineers. Second area was the water system plan for the update, to begin that process. That's so we become aware. The director would like us to get that done and through the whole engineering process by the end of January 2027. That might be a little steep because that's only 7.5 months. Based upon past experience, both mine and the other committee members, along with the port's experience in the last couple of years. But that's the target. The other area was to look at what the amendment would be, or the update would be to this consolidation plan, as far as some of the problems that we've run into, which are what was originally spec'd, what's built, and what does not work well, or just has some shortcomings. So that again was approved or recommended, advised to move ahead with that, and I'll let the director further explain that. But the bottom line is to as committee members provided a bunch of different ways to looking at the problem, and since then I've also provided the director information on areas where, for example, we've lost 2 pumps in the last 5-6 years, and it may not be related, but there appears to be some things that need to be incorporated in these controllers that are driving the pumps. And I won't get in again if it's a dry subject, but the bottom line is there are things you can do that are prolong the life of motors when you use the VFD, these VFD controllers. And you know, up to this point, in my experience has always been a single phase power. It wasn't until we got into this 3-phase opportunity that we said, oh, and then, you know, I took my experience that I had from other areas in this, especially areas of surge and harmonics, and applied it to that. And it's like, there's a number of things we probably should be doing, although you'll go through a process that'll come out the other side as far as, you know, advisory from the committee. But it looks like there's a number of shortcomings that prior to this even with the well you had down here. And just it's like everybody, let's say everybody, I don't want to think that way. Let me put it this way. Everybody has their specialty that way, as far as engineers. But when you work with electricity, you work with water, and you work with that kind of, you know, there's really two different reviews that really need to be occurring. Because we've always looked at it from the water engineer. Well, engineers know a bunch, but they're not up on everything when it comes to the electrical side. So, but we'll elaborate more. It's a lot more into it than even I thought was, you know, necessary. I mean, you've all heard like surge protectors on electronics. This is a lot more involved than that. Just because of the way the controller controls the pump to make it efficient. There are things that makes it harder on motors, especially over extended runs, which in the case of yours, the original port well, it's like about 225 feet of run. In the case of mine, it's about 250 feet of run. And it just aggravates the problem when you use these controllers, if you don't address this. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Then with respect to the water system plan. We haven't made any progress, but we're hoping from meetings that Travis has had with other engineers to get that going, because there's a number of things that are all intertied here. Also, this consolidation project's intertied with getting the plan done, because while we have data from my system and maybe some from the port to address what they call maximum data demand and peak hour demand, which the bottom line is you just want to make sure your water systems have the capacity when it's hot weather, it's peak hour, this still got water pressure, that nobody, you know, you don't run out of water. And the bottom line is there's things that are occurring that have to occur in this consolidation that would feed and help, you know, the engineer work out this issue, because I maintain looking at it, again, not an engineer, but looking at it and going through the equations that the Department of Health has, that there's probably somewhere between 75 and 100 connections at least that could be made on the system without increasing the reservoir size or any of that. Whereas if you look at the plan that you adopted in 2018, if those numbers all held through, you would have to do some expansion on the tank and the reservoir. So again, we hope to divide this up into 3 different levels, i.e. staff and the committee doing some of it to help reduce costs. But there'll also be the engineering piece, and there may be something from the satellite management side of the equation might also assist. The bottom line is there's on the one hand, we have done a bunch where I was looking at the other day, and there's just a number of things that have to be readdressed. And now they're going to take 2 plans and merge them together, so to speak. But they're going to be itemized, so to speak. The lower water system here and the upper one up there. So there's just it's not insurmountable. It's just a lot of grunt detail. I mean, it's not engineering. It's the best way to say it. What else? We also discussed, and this is also important to the water system plan, the as-built. This is the drawings after infrastructure is put in, what you have in the ground, where it is, how it is, and all this kind of thing. as you know, we have not been able to finish that. And I think I mentioned in the last meeting that one of the concerns we had is, yes, we cleaned up a number of errors once a reference point was reestablished. The problem we're running into now is there's, how do I say this? There's, when you document, you can show like where meter boxes are, valves, and all this kind of thing. But if you don't have the line, you can't just make the assumption that this is point A to point B, this is where the line is. Because there's a number of points where that's not the case. It runs up and over and down or something like that. So there was a series, you know, I don't know how many, but there was a fair number of assumptions made on the updated drawing, which just aggravates trying to create it as what else? Oh, what? This was not discussed, will be brought up in the next meeting, it's just for your background, but I want to discuss a little bit more of the financial different things, the financial aspects, I should say, of the port's water system. And again, this hasn't gone before committee yet, but I bring it up just to inform the board so they know, because I've worked with the port's budget, so I have a little understanding of what is where or what have you. And one thing is, like, there's the document you have on file that says, okay, you're 10% or whatever, you know, the water system's doing fine financially. I don't want to rain on people's parade. It's not, how to say this? Yes, your water, you need, our documentation has to be more precise, meaning our revenue that you're getting from water sales is 10% ahead. But your expenses, and I mean, not just legal, but I'm saying even excise tax, we didn't somehow, I don't know if it's an update or something, but you know, it's off by a few thousand, meaning we're spending a few thousand more. And all I'm getting at is, if you take that together, you start saying, okay, we're ahead maybe $10,000 or $11,000 amortized over the full year. So it looks good on that, but our expenses are over and above that. And again, that's something that the board needs to, you know, grab the bull by the horns and say, okay, how do we reduce, or how do you want to reduce, or, you know, do we look at rates? I'm always pushing to try to drive rates down, but at the same time, I also know it has to be financially supportable, because it needs to run on its funds, not the general fund. So, so I know that's more than a few minutes for everyone to hear. One other thing that's also aggravating it, although it's on the capital side, is that we had planned it to be about 16 amortized connections over the year. So far, there's only been 2. So you've got 12% on 41% of the time. So we're running behind on the connections. There's some other things like that. The connections, the majority of that goes in the capital facility money. So that's for, you know, for capital improvements. But these all aggravate the budget. So while I leave the board with the understanding, and like I said, I'll discuss it more with the committee in our next meeting, to, you know, get their feel and bring it before the board. But as one party of the committee, my concern is that we need to really look at those finances and watch those finances, because it is just things that take off in a different direction. That doesn't mean you don't do it, but it means, you know, at the front end that you're really not accurately 10% ahead, you're maybe 15% behind. and that always drives me nuts when we make, you know, statements. I mean, I know it's not the board, but I'm saying the statement was made that we're doing fine. And in reality, at best, we're treading water, no pun intended, but more likely we're running a little behind. And we cannot use I would always suggest we cannot use capital facilities money to run the maintenance and operation. I'm consistently that way, whether we're talking water systems, county sewer, or anything. So, any questions?
One of them I forgot, but budget wise, even how do you have suggestions about how to cut costs on some of these things? Because some of these are, you know, trying to take care of putting out fires, for instance.
You know, like I said, there's probably 3 or 4 different groups of these that would need different,
Mhm.
different approaches. Some you cannot, you have to address them, you have to deal with it when it occurs. Some of it you will have to use capital facilities funds. We haven't really adopted it, but I brought before the committee, we haven't had the time to get into it. It's a suggestion, in other words, listing at this time, this was before tying the two systems
Mhm.
together. Listing all the port's assets that make up its water system and what the life is, suggested life of all these different components are. And say, okay, if it goes bad, what are you gonna have to do? Well, the heavy duty plastic pipe is gonna need replacing unless you have an earthquake or somebody digs it up or something like this. But but at the same time, you have to plan that in a 50-year period, you're going to have something that's gonna take some section of it, you're gonna have to deal with. Over some period of time, valves go, we experience pumps. So it's mainly at this point, trying to mitigate repairs, trying to mitigate and plan for expenses, i.e. eventually when the tank has to have a new bladder put in it.
Didn't you submit something like that to us
Oh, yeah.
quite a while back?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, so.
But it's been kind of parked because we keep having more, like Travis, more on a plate than we have time.
Right.
And that's not to say that it has to be done. I mean, let me put it differently. Is everybody doing this, i.e., let's take the government agencies like the county or others? No, and I've had this discussion with the county. We're not. But that doesn't make it right. And I would like to see someday the system, so to speak, run itself. When I say run itself, meaning that you have the controls. And that's another thing in the financial side, accounting side of it, but we'll leave that alone for a moment. The controls necessary and the oversight necessary that if you see it veering off the way, you know what to pull. Hopefully you don't get to that point. Hopefully we built in the budgeting so that you're putting away the funds for the tank, you're putting away funds for the pumps. Hopefully we figure out how to get around what's going on with the pumps. I believe we will.
That was kind of my next question was phase 3, electrical, would that probably help alleviate some of the surges and stuff like that, or is that a whole different ballgame?
It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay,
Whether it's single phase or 3-phase,
Mhm.
doesn't matter
okay,
in the big picture. What matters is how you regulate it or filter it, or what it is the best way to say it. In other words, you have to do a little bit different with 3-phase than you do with single phase.
right,
No, I mean,
okay, well, that kind of answers the
Yeah.
question, okay,
okay, as a non-electrical engineer,
Right.
but to my best of my understanding and reading, no, that's not where the problem is. The
Okay.
problem is a device protecting the motor, so to speak.
okay. Great, thank you.
So,
All right.
anyway, I'm sure that's more than what people want to hear, but
No, that was great,
it's not a committee, and
thank you.
I look at it as a key aspect of now what to focus
Right.
into, so.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Your report on the Allyn waterfront pier repair.
Yep, moving along, we've got, in this, month's vouchers, our dock master program is being enacted. With, marine floats. So that we'll have an inspection period between July 1st and the 20th, where they'll come down and do a full evaluation of both facilities for, maintenance, repairs, making our big list. And then we'll take care of the most important ones first with our 16 hours of labor included with the program. It also gives us a discount on hourly rates, various
Great,
savings.
wonderful,
Then we still have more work to do when it comes to putting together our bid packet for getting the work done with the money that we have from Commerce. So I would move now to the Oyster House relocation, where I would pass it on to Mr. Scott and anybody from the North Bay Historical Society.
Well, as you see, they're starting to get the exterior painted.
Yes.
And Dan just informed me they got sheetrock inside. So it's moving forward. Bonnie has applied for a grant through the Washington Archaeologist Preservation. I think that's the right term. We just have to get through the lease thing, so I'm gonna call, I didn't have a chance to call Tim today about that, so we can work on that.
Work on it this week.
Sure, okay. Other than that, then things are moving forward. Matter of fact, when I was at WPPA, I met our consultant, one of them, you know, but I haven't heard anything about the engineer, where that's at yet.
I've had some conversations.
Okay.
We're still waiting on information.
Okay, so
It's the best I got right now.
there we go. At least we're getting somewhere on it.
Yep.
Slow progress, but progress.
Yeah,
That's.
well, it's been really encouraging. Do you have anything you want to add, Dan?
Well, if you got money you wanna throw to
Hey, well,
I think we're almost to a point on the interior. If I get the trim work done, then I think we're probably gonna be at a standstill.
till we get it moved.
Yeah. The shelves and stuff to build in the back corner, but other than that, I don't think it could do much more.
Okay,
Yeah, you still got, the concrete's kind of the finishing touch.
There's pros and cons about that. And I personally, I don't think we should do it till it's on the pilot.
We're both in agreement there.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that
think
too.
Yeah,
It has more weight and it's too chances, like,
The weight has nothing to do with it.
It's the moisture content of the concrete and trying to move it.
yes, too likely to crack.
You got ruined what you did.
40-year-old, 50-year-old concrete, when you move that, it's closer to half-life, there's no moisture left in it.
Right.
Concrete continually loses its moisture until it's half-life.
which reminds me, I forgot who I was talking to, but he's a concrete guy. And I told him about the situation and he made some really good suggestions about even vapor barrier. Matter of fact, it was at the WPPA Association meeting is that, because I told him about the scenario and he gave some really good well, again, what to put down before, because you're gonna be around water, it's gonna be over water somewhat, so he made some really good suggestions, and so I'll see if I can get a hold of him again, or see if I can remember, but there was an underlayment and then another insulation to put over that would help alleviate any moisture coming through. So,
Well, we use marine plywood on that too.
true, but I told him that too, but he also suggested like a membrane to put down first, so, yeah. So anyway, I thought that was great.
Yeah, that type of concrete's a very specialized operation.
Was it lightweight concrete type stuff, or do you know?
I don't know, for
Okay.
sure, but I know that when you're pouring concrete, it's only a few inches thick,
Right,
and there's a lot to it. Get it right.
well, I have lightweight concrete in my house. Because that's around moisture. Well, anyway, we can talk about that later, but that was informative. Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
And thank you to Corliss Painting. They're doing the labor for free.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you very much. It's helps. Report safety and
Yeah, nothing to note for the security report, but I would like to bring your attention to the Douglas fir tree on the North Shore. We've had some conversations with the neighbor there, David Warwick. And he's gotten to be fairly concerned about the trees. A couple of smaller limbs have come out of it. Didn't do any damage to any of his storage sheds or his boats or anything, but talking about a tree that's 4 feet in diameter at the bottom. Big tree.
What side is it on?
It is
Is it the north or the south?
it's on the south side,
Okay.
right up by the highway and the fence line. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
It's,
Okay,
it's huge. It's well over 100 feet tall.
wow.
you have like huge branches.
It's got that double top in it where the Columbus Day storm
Oh, yeah,
capped it.
yeah.
So There's some dead limbs in the, 70 feet, 80 feet up. You're really faced with, just a few options there.
Is it, the dead limbs is like dying going up or is it just a couple
The
of,
dead limb is dead. It doesn't
or
have
is it
growth
just,
on it.
yeah, or is it just a couple limbs that
No,
are
you can
dead?
see that it's dead wood, doesn't even have any bark on it.
Okay,
And yeah,
but is it dead from there up?
no, just limbs.
Just a couple
Just
limbs, so we just need to remove those limbs.
Well,
That's
there's
one possibility of it.
a lot of wild limbs towards the bottom that are huge and they are flat. They aren't growing up. They're so heavy that they're laying flat.
Okay,
It doesn't take much for one of those to snap,
And would that do damage to his property?
very possibly. The tree is about a foot away from the fence. That's how close the tree is.
You have a rough estimate of what it would take to take that tree down? or
I have
deal with the
not,
problem?
I have not gone and got an estimate, but,
That would be a lot of.
that's, I just
Big
wanted
tree.
the commission to talk about it because it's something that will have to be addressed, that they can't just sit there like that.
well, we need to get it taken care of. We can't do nothing. We don't wanna be
The
in that
options are is to
liability.
professionally limit and
Right,
save the tree or to bring the whole thing down.
I always prefer not to cut trees down unless we have to, but limiting it would be a better idea if we can, but if it's a danger, then we'll take it
I
out.
think that's one of the.
But I've not just go look at it.
Probably have multiple estimates, multiple opinions. Which the safest direction is, bring that back to the commission and
okay, yeah,
discuss
why
it.
don't you just do that?
I mean, it drops a massive needle load. But it's not like our parking lot cares that much.
Sure,
But yeah, I'm sure that the homeowner would prefer to see the tree gone, of course.
so does he want a tree? Does he
Well,
want some firewood?
I suppose another conversation could be had to see if the homeowner was willing to pitch into the problem.
Sure, or does he
To
want some
get, to
firewood?
get what they really want.
Sure,
So maybe that would be a conversation we could have.
yeah,
So
that'd be good.
it's just, it's a
it might
beautiful,
be easier for the commission to say, yes, let's get rid of it if they're paying for it.
well, but my understanding, it's a beautiful tree, right?
It is a beautiful tree.
It's always a shame to get rid of, but a threat, a danger is a danger if that's what,
And
It is.
Don't get me wrong, that tree's been there a long time. It is not in danger of falling. But every windstorm is a danger of those trees limbs snapping and putting it through a person's storage shed or through their boat or through their truck. That, like I said, that tree is huge.
and that would be. Yeah,
I know.
that keep us, yeah,
That's why we're talking about it now, so it can be addressed before we see another windy season.
yeah,
Indeed.
we have little bit of time before we do that again, but.
Okay. Well, I just
If
wanted
you can
everyone to
get-
talk about it a little bit.
Yes, if you can get some opinions from some experts, since none of us are tree experts. See what would be, you agree with that?
Yeah,
Approach.
absolutely, yeah. So we can designate him to do that.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Report.
Moving over to setting in the time and date for a June special meeting if necessary.
Is it necessary?
I think it's necessary that we schedule it so that everybody knows if they can make a certain date.
I can do the 29th. I fly back into town on 28th. But
29th is good for me too.
Yep. At what time?
4 PM preferably.
In my brain? All right, Now, the Sweetwater Creek project update, you have nothing there, so,
Nothing new to report on Sweetwater at this time.
all right, that's good. Yes,
It's a waiting game on all fronts.
all right. And you want to talk about now the action? You, or is that need to go down to?
So, got an action request to the commission for the America 250 celebration at the gazebo next weekend. I just wanted to put that as an option for the commission to approve. Waiving the gazebo fee due to it being a very public and once in every, semi-centennial thing for us to celebrate our country's heritage. So
Well, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
We're all ready for it. Wasn't much discussion, but I think it's an excellent idea.
anybody want to discuss it first?
No discussion either, in my opinion.
Ain't mine either, so, but gotta ask.
Well, I Commissioner Scott moved to waive the gazebo fee for the North Mason Community Voice hosting the America 250 Community Celebration on June 13th, 2026.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so moved.
You want us to sign anything?
no, it should, will be.
Oh, you got it, great.
It's just a regular action request.
Do you want to explain to a little more about the what we're doing with the mortgage buoys to the public?
Yeah, well, we are set up to set 2 mortgage buoys at the North Shore. And as the commission has the prerogative to set rates for such things, I thought they should say in putting that together, we're getting ready to put labels on the buoys that actually tell the public when they come up in their boat that it's Port of Allyn buoy and it costs X amount of dollars per night, and how to get a hold of the port, how to make, payment for using the facility. So we didn't have anything in our policy for mortgage buoys rate wise. So this will address that. I also added in that, and something I wanted to bring before the commission for a little while now, just haven't had the minutes to do it. It's a perfect opportunity, is that we currently pay the leasehold tax out of our end of what we take in storage mortgage fees. And I believe that it should be passed on to the customer. We have not really raised those rates in several years. And that taxation is paid by the port quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
So, my preference would be that the customer pays the actual leasehold tax.
Is that pretty normal that they do, the
Yeah,
other parts do that?
it's definitely part of some lease agreements.
Okay,
Is some not part of it, or?
I haven't looked into that extremely, but
Okay,
I can say this, that we've, everybody who learns about our lease rate is jumping on board and wants to get a spot. That's why we're full in our 2 spots per marina,
mm-hmm,
because it's a good deal. So us paying the leasehold tax out of a good deal seems like a bad deal for the port.
sure, yeah, I agree, yeah, we do need it, but. Okay,
So I suggested setting those rates at $25 per night for transient mortgage and a rate of $690 per month on the buoys, not based off of footage in any way, just on a daily charge.
mm-hmm,
Tawana State Park currently charges $23 per day on their buoys,
yeah, but
and it has been that way for years.
you were telling me though that other parks charge others.
So there are other private and public entities that charge anywhere from $35 to $50 per night for.
So we're way down on the
We're
list.
still on the very floor of what
okay,
is being
well, that's
offered.
good, all right,
Anybody have an issue with that?
And, if we see a whole lot of demand for these buoys, we can.
Get more?
Look at that. And making changes later, but. I think this is a good place to start.
yeah, excellent.
Okay, Agree.
Alright, well, Commissioner Treadway moved to approve setting nightly transient mortgage rates at $25 per night and a storage rate of $690 per month for mortgage at the Port of Allen mortgage buoys, in addition to the 12.84% leasehold tax, is to be charged to all storage mortgage rates at all Port of Allen facilities. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Um. So that leaves now the financial statements. The approving of financial. So I will need a motion for that.
Yeah, we need to go through them all. We're good. I read them before.
Yep.
Do you have any questions on the financial statement?
No, I don't. I've looked at everything. No
Yeah.
question.
There's no questions from the board. I, Commissioner Treadway, move to approve payments for the Port of Allen's payroll vouchers number 260-6000001 through 260-6000012 in the amount of $20,310.97. General fund vouchers number 260-6000013 through 260-6000043 in the amount of $13,249.85. The waterfront fund vouchers 260-6000044 through 260-6000051 in the amount of $68,954.14 on the Port of Allen's regular meeting agenda on June 8th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. This will be a first.
Second page for everybody to sign.
Yeah.
Whoops. This one. Thank you for catching that.
You mentioned.
The next part is the good of the order.
Well, I would like to encourage everybody to come to the 250 celebration with North Mason Community Voice and Port of Allen. They've invited our Representative Griffey and Couture and Commissioner Netherland. I hope to see them there, and hopefully it'll be a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
All here
sounds
at the
good.
gazebo on this coming Saturday.
Oh, sounds good. Do you have anything to?
No.
Yeah. All right. And then in that case, with that, we adjourn.